Clearing, you're the producer. He's been trying to keep his verbosity within reason. And Jonathan Bradfield from Manic Street Preachers. Okay, thank you, lads. On your time.
Hello everyone. Thank you very much for coming. Thank you to Dave and James for being here.
Pleasure.
So we're here to talk about the excellent 13th Manics album, Resistance is Futile, which was released in April, went to number 2 in the charts. So before we get started, I just want to say, how many times in the past few months have you cursed the fact that the soundtrack to The Greatest Showman blocked that path to the top?
First of all, it was terrible. It was absolutely... we were crestfallen, heartbroken, beside ourselves. That people could actually buy that shit.
Do you know anyone who bought it?
Just idiots and twats in coffee houses. I can't be nice about it. I can't be magnanimous. It's not in my spirit to be magnanimous about it whatsoever. But subsequently, it's kept so many records off number 1 that made me feel slightly better.
As producer, what was your take on it, Dave?
It's Wolverine singing about the circus. Fucked up. Just so bad. How? It's like fine for 1 or 2 weeks. How?
I think in everyone here's head, it was number 1. It was the number 1 of the people. Okay. So it came out in April. So you've had time to let the dust settle. How do you reflect? What are your general reflections on the making of the record?
It was quite a long, drawn-out process. I think we've said in many interviews, because of us losing the studio in Cardiff, that curtailed the process of making the record. So it felt like it was a long time in the making, but in reality, it was only kind of a solid year of just demoing and writing and just discarding songs, etc. But in the interim period of not having a studio, it kind of took much longer than that. And we're just at that age where we need a clubhouse. We can't hire somebody else's studio and just say, right boys, we got 4 days, we're going to do something. We need a more relaxed environment.
How long was it that you were without a home?
Just over a year. And that was kind of a bit of a struggle in itself. Look, it's a first world problem, don't get me wrong. But it was just that thing of, we didn't get to hang out with each other as much, I never called Sean or Wire and say, fancy come down to the social club for a pint. That doesn't happen. And so, but sometimes we'd hang out at Faster Studios in Cardiff. A lot of the time we'd hang out and go and watch the cricket, or if the British Lions tour was on, or watch Countdown, or pretend to do demos and then give up after 2 hours. But those times in a band are really important because you just kind of get to be with each other just like you used to be when you were younger. Instead of your bedrooms, you've just got this kind of like studio, which sounds like a privilege, but I think we've kind of earned that right to remain as a band and just be with each other and just piss and moan about stuff, which is what lots of friends do. They do. Good God, if you hear the conversations going on in coffee houses when they listen to that great fucking showman stuff. Well, the studio is like our version of that, and that's important.
I'm glad that it hasn't festered.
I'll cut the swearing down now.
You're allowed to swear.
Oh, thank you.
You get a pass. So there's been 13 Manics albums now.
Yeah.
Of which Dave has been involved in many. Plus James.
11. No, you haven't, Dave. That's fucking mad. Also, what did you do on GT?
Played the keyboard.
You play keyboards. That's not involved. You played on it.
Oh, that's not involved.
What do you do in the Holy Bible?
Okay. The one recall of CSI.
You did a recall. That's
No, I did.
That's an outrageous lie.
I feel like maybe I should sit between you two.
See, Dave,
These are alternative facts.
he actually produces the facts in his own answers as well.
So out of all those records, where did this one rank in terms of the scale of being a massive pain in the arse and being lots of fun to make?
The only pain in the arse on this record was that I stood on an acoustic guitar and ripped my foot open. So much of the record was made on crutches. Other than that,
Did you plant it there?
Well, I was travelling from Cardiff to
Yes.
Caerleon every day, you know, so I'd finish late, come back, you know, have breakfast with family, take the dog out for a walk, blah, blah. And this morning resembled that scene in Goodfellas, where Henry, at the end, was really paranoid when he got helicopters are above. So I woke up in the morning, I had 4 hours sleep. I was thinking, right, gotta make a bolognese. Right, gotta take the dog for a walk. Right, gotta clean up the dog shit in the front yard. Right, I had to do something else, I can't remember what it was. And then I had a call at 7 o'clock. And it was Dave's number. I went, this can't be good. And he went, it's all right, I haven't broken your guitar, but I've ripped my foot open on it. I said, Dave, I had to take the kids to school as well. And so I said, Dave, you're going to have to get yourself to hospital. But I'll come and pick you up from hospital. I said, is it bleeding? He went, yeah, lots. And so I said, I'll pick you up from hospital. It was raining. It was
10 stitches. It was 10 stitches in the
Was
bottom
James
of
the
my
first
foot.
person you called?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you know I had to get the alarm code.
But anyway, so I kind of like, you know, it was that morning I feel like Henry and like Goodfellas, and then I was like, right, I'll pick you up at the hospital. So I rushed around, got to the hospital about 9:30, and he was outside in his pyjamas. His hair was all bedraggled, his beard was longer than it is now. There was water dripping out of it, and he was on a crutch. So I kind of, as he got to the car, he just nearly slipped. I helped him into the car. I've got a little car. It's nothing much at all. So kind of like we drove over to the studio, and I thought, oh, Dave, I think let's try and cheer you up. So we went to a local bakery and we got a
Bacon sandwich.
Got a big bacon sandwich, and it just dawned upon me. I had my dog walking coat on, I had a shirt for a week. He had his pajamas on. He was so. There was crutches hanging out of the door, and it just looked faintly like a scene out of Little Britain. I was like, and we were in a car park just eating the sandwich. And so kind of, it felt like, then I had to kind of just, you know, plug everything in for Dave for about 3 weeks after that. And like, no, don't put them out there, do it like that.
On the plus side, I did get gas and air.
You got a free engineer.
And he did, he was lovely.
So there you go. But it felt like there were little things like that. But to be honest, you can over-egg the kind of number 13, but lots of worse things have happened on other albums. It was just lots of little things. Obviously, in the background, it's scared, it's to talk about it. Obviously Nick's mum was really ill. That was terrible, and that's there's nothing about this album that felt insurmountable. But yeah, the real thing that was in the background was Nick's mother being ill. That was the thing that just made you always put things into perspective, like Dave's foot.
in terms of the personal relationship within like the four of us in the studio, it was kind of the easiest, really. I mean, we didn't really fight.
What's been the hardest?
And dangerous territory now.
I couldn't possibly say they were all really easy, honest.
I think me and Dave are generally it's not get too romance on this or anything, but we are generally friends. We met in early 91.
19.
Late 90 doing Motown Junk. He was a cool dude, myself, Nick, Richie, and Sean, we all kind of fell in love with Dave because he was the assistant on Motown Junk when Robin Evans was producing. He was a great producer, by the way. But Dave just looked at a place in the studio. He had all these other kids that moved to London to start their careers as an engineer, and they were all trying to be cool. Dave was just there he had Sebastian Bach here down here, Skid Row singer, just in case you don't know now.
I know.
He had a Kiss buckle belt on, cowboy boots, and just a plethora of just really good heavy metal t-shirts. And we were just like, he's not trying to be cool, he's fucking cool. We liked it. And he was like, he was kind of like a frog trapped in a Labrador puppy's body. He was just jumping around, enthusiastic all the time, And so we've known him for that long. We're genuinely friends to set the tone for everything. but there've been some pretty bad moments between us. I mean, generally, you know, in terms of me, on Centimetre Tigers and
It was more postcards, really.
more postcards.
Second Away was fine.
Yeah, he was really fucking pulling my chain. And I just, there was one instance where he was contradicting me.
The next question.
That's fine. You guys carry on.
There was one instance where he was contradicting me, so I started counting it in my head, and you know you've lost it when you start to count stuff in your head. And it got to 19, and I said, Dave, you've contradicted me fucking 19 times in a row. And of course, what do you say? No, I haven't. I fucking lost my mind. And it's been moments like that where I've really been, you know, quite combative towards you sometimes. But kind of, you know, we are proper friends, so we get over it.
And Dave, what do you think of James?
I love him like a brother. And I do. One of the reasons why it works in the studio is that we have that, you know, undercurrent of hopefully brotherly love. So they can relax and be really horrible to me, and it's fine because you know it's not going to be a problem, kind of thing. And that makes for a creative atmosphere because they can be themselves. So, you know, I'm fine with it.
And so this was the longest gap between Manic's albums.
Yeah.
So, but you were very busy in between. But were you aware of, was that gap sort of weighing on your mind?
I don't know, I mean, everything feels like it's changing. You know, everything has changed about the music industry that I knew of when we first released a new single in the late 80s, let's face it, you know, self-financed single, New Art Riot, then Motown Junk. And so it just feels like everything changes. Of course, we're all older, you know, I'm 50 next February, and etc. And so it just, inevitably the gaps are going to get longer, they just are. But this one, it just felt like things were in our way. You know, losing the studio, and then just kind of losing even the most tenuous of thread when you're writing kind of helps you. And we'd lost our thread a bit after we left Faster Studios. And so just, and of course, you know, the pressure's on Nick, you know, to have that narrative comes from the lyrics. And so not having that clubhouse environment, we lost our way a tiny bit, and we had to kind of find our way back into some kind of theme.
And so what was the spark that started the record?
I think, for me, I loved writing music to, I think it was Broken Algorithms, where it felt like it was, Nick was daring to be, like, you know, who exactly he is any given day. Not scared to give an opinion, not scared to be judgmental against something he completely disagrees with. But some people can be more opaque in life. They can just say, oh well, live and let live, but if he finds a target, then he'll go for it. And it was good that when he gave me that lyric, I was like, right, it feels like, you know, the old Y is back. So I felt like he was going to find his, because he kind of got that out of his system as well. So I thought he was going to find other themes lyrically which were a bit more empathetic. So that kind of felt like we were back on track.
When I interviewed Nick at the start of the year for Q, he mentioned that you'd really got into the building a new studio. He called you Hard Hat James. And he said that you were channeling
Kevin McLeod, the Welsh Kevin McLeod, but much shorter.
Is that true?
No, it's not.
It's in print. I read it in Q.
It was. I was kind of. I was going over there all the time, just to make sure that, you know, the things weren't going the wrong place, or, you know, the desk was going to be in a, you know, Dave came down to help as well. He, you know, gave a bit of help, and just wanted to make sure that we had a big. The embarrassing thing is, you know, the afterthought was the studio downstairs, but we wanted to make sure that we had a big room upstairs where we could just lie around and piss and moan, like I described. And so we knocked 2 bedrooms into one, and blah blah. It's gorgeous. And you could kind of see where the dartboard is, the lines of sight for the dartboard is perfect and stuff like that. So it's cool. There's one pillar that ruins the whole thing, but it's okay.
So it was more like where the satellite dish is going to go than where the mixing desk is going to go.
Yeah, Sean in his new guise of just like being much more human and warm. You know, he made sure we got solar panels on the fucking roof. So ever since I took him to Patagonia, he's just become just more human.
Do you regret that?
I do a bit.
And so, what point did they bring you in, Dave? When does that happen? When do you get that sort of like the bat phone from the Manics?
Something like that. I mean, they sent me they would send me demos every now and then. Okay, well, there was a couple of songs they said, you know, do a little mix of this demo and see where it's going, for what direction they're looking for, kind of thing. But I had demos for there was a very developed demo for the people give in. That was an important song.
Yeah, People Give In, yeah, and we had done the demo down in Gavin Fitzjohn's place, who goes on tour with us, and did a couple of co-producing jobs with Dave on the album, and then he's got a little studio down in Cardiff Bay, so that's where I was able to go and do demos. You know, because we didn't have a place and stuff for more. And yeah, we sent David that, David, I never call you David.
David, you just you didn't tell me.
Only my mum calls me Dave.
I sent Dave the demo, and I think that's when Dave was like, Dave, really felt like it was starting to come together, I think.
And what about that discussion with the band? How do you go about deciding which producer will be best? Because you've got a lot of sort of frequent collaborators throughout the years. How does it work when you say, who should we get in for this one?
We always start up with a list of around about 4 people, and then we go, yeah, we'll do this, and then we go, oh, that's cool, Dave.
That must feel nice, right? In a way.
To be honest, it's
beautiful.
It's some, let's do some credit here. You know, Dave produced 2 number 1s. He produced If You Tolerate This, Your Children Will Be Next. Produced Mass Against Classes, so there were 2 number 1s. And like kind of.
You didn't bank on The Greatest Showman, did you?
No, I didn't.
Did you produce that, Dave?
I won't be sat here now.
I did not.
But kind of obviously, guys back on track with Sending Away the Tigers as well, which he produced most of. So yeah, I mean, kind of, it's. Who knows, we will work with each other again, and we just, Dave's just a little remix I did for somebody today. But kind of, until you write some songs, you don't know. Like, say when we did Jennifer Play Lovers, sometimes, the material just leads you to somebody, and it was obvious that we wanted to do a lot of the record with Steve Harvey and Jennifer Play Lovers. Dave did some of that too. But sometimes you just go, we just kind of knew that Dave would be great for Tigers, he'd be great for Postcards, and he'd be great for this record. It's as simple as that, basically.
I think this would be a good time for you to play your first track.
So, in terms of the eventuality of fucking up and all that, I can start again and you edit it out, yeah?
Of course, yeah.
You've not got a poker face now. Okay, I'm trying to remember the words to this.
That was fun.
Right, gotcha. It's the 20th anniversary of This My Truth, Tell Me Yours. So I'm going to attempt to do a song off it called Black Dog on My Shoulder. There's a black dog on my shoulder again. She's slicking my neck and saying she's my friend. Solitude, the one thing that I really miss. I guess my life is a compromise. There's a black dog on my shoulder again. But it's gone to my head. Like Polito's way, there are no access signs. Freeze me here until I'm numb. My mouth is so dry, my eyes are shut. There's a black dog coming tonight. Black dog's coming out tonight. My dilemma, button up my choice. Winston Churchill
choo-choo, can you hear my voice? Melodrama, I hear my kitchen sink.